Hey, Marcel, what's going on?
Uh-oh, Fedo,
Hey,
Matt. This is
yo,
gonna be a troublesome call, I can tell.
not working this week. Well, I am working. I'm just not on a site. So,
Plus you got a girlfriend, so I'm surprised you even have time for us anymore, Matt.
no, it's fine. We're gonna go get some beers after this, so it's
Well,
fine.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. When are you gonna introduce her on the Zoom call? I think it's part of your relationship. It shows dedication, commitment.
Oh, does it? I haven't seen any other partners on this call.
Well, maybe we're gonna have to start making a rule.
I mean,
It's
maybe.
because they're all like, screw you. I ain't going on that thing.
What, what is it with Dearson, man?
I don't
He
know. Why is he
always
gonna be
makes me
topless every week now?
Fucking jealous.
And now I got to start putting clothes on. Listen,
Hey,
I've
I
been, I've
didn't
been
know you're a
bottomless for the last 18 months. Nobody's complained.
Where are you, dude? I didn't know your apartment complex had a pool or your condo.
Well, my condo has two pools.
Oh, yeah.
And
Where are
but
you?
we're not there. I moved.
Didn't you move?
Oh, shit. Where'd you move to?
Moved to the burbs.
Nice. Henderson?
No, close to it though. Southern
Oh,
Highlands.
nice.
Temporary joint.
Nice. Before Ellen gets on, you guys heard about NAB, right?
Yeah.
That canceled. I'm very curious what LDI is going to do. I know, and Marcel, I know I texted you about this, and I'm curious, and I heard, ETC pulled out of LDI just because of they're concerned and all that stuff. What's everyone's thoughts?
I'm going to Vegas no matter what.
Kevin's gonna.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are having a trade show whether they want it or not.
Yeah, I don't know that there's going to be much stopping that bus, right?
Yeah, I mean, all
Get
for
together
it.
at the bar if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've heard all the same things you have, Matt, and you and I chatted, like you said,
Yeah.
a little bit about it. I've talked to a bunch of the big manufacturers, and I've had a few who've called me in the past few days and said, what would you do? I don't know why, because I haven't had a big company that spent any money at trade shows in a very long time. But yeah, I mean, I would still go. If I was running a company that did trade show booths right now, I would still go. I would still do a trade show booth. I wouldn't be doing a light show, like a big, monstrosity of a booth. I'd have a whole bunch of couches and, if they say Plaza was a networking show, let's make this a beast of a networking show, So that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
I'm in agreement.
I mean, it's also interesting that the best part about NAM was that it was in January. Now they're moving it to the summer, which is kind of inconvenient for, like, if they're trying to get production designers and designers into it. It's just, that's like the heart of our season right there.
There's never, ever a good time to throw a trade show, and Ellen Lamp would be the very first one to tell you that. LDI is a perfect example of it. They have tried it in multiple cities at multiple times. Either companies are yelling and screaming, bitching and moaning that it's too close to Thanksgiving, or they're yelling and screaming, bitching and moaning that it's too close to Halloween, and they're trying to do fog juice orders. I mean, everybody's got a bitch about it.
Yeah.
Just is what it is.
Well, I like January because that's inherently our dead time anyway. You know what I mean?
Your dead time, not my dead time.
Well,
that's what I mean. Everybody has their own personal thing.
Sure. For concert touring, there isn't a lot going on in January. I'm just saying, like, for theater,
and
there
I
isn't
would,
a lot.
I would argue that although concert touring does maintain a significant amount of the market share in the live events business, that it is absolutely not the significant one.
Sure.
Out of all,
corporate slam during January and so does television.
Yeah. No, I mean, it all is that kind of niche, and NAM is more directed to concerts, live events. Obviously they get other people in there, but I just feel like it was a good time for us.
Is it? I thought, unless I'm thinking of something else, I thought NAM was more like, we used to call it the Spandex Ballet. It was all Guitar Center.
Oh,
Duders.
I mean, if I've been there every NAM for the last 6 years, and it's I mean, yes, it's a glorified Guitar Center, but they've given us, it's grown where they've given us a whole hall. Like we've pretty much taken over half of a hall. And you know, they have other organizations in the front end of that. And if we get more if they get more people into it, they're going to give us the whole hall. But yeah, I mean, the thing
So
that
they're
I
trying
like,
to turn it into a music messa.
well, I mean,
Yeah, just like Pro Light and Sound. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
I mean, the way that we tried to like bill it when I came on to consult was that it was kind of like a musical crossroads, where you do have a lot of artists there doing their endorsements. Your tour managers, your production managers are there to like support the artists that they're watching. So you can very easily say, hey, there's this new product I want to check out, maybe use on this tour. Can we check it out? Rather than sending them like a website link or a YouTube video or something like that, they can see it in real life and you can justify it. A couple of years ago, Four Wall had a huge presence at NAMM. And for them, used lighting shot through the roof. I mean, Marcel, I know you're a competitor with them, but like used lighting at NAMM, they said they made over $250,000 in 3 days.
I think that pretty much tells you the market attendees that are showing up. They're looking for used gear, not new stuff.
But I mean, that was just one section of it. You know, that was like, you're talking like you do have a lot of houses of worship that go to these things because bands are such a huge part of it. Like I'll tell you, all of my artists do something at NAMM, and all of my, every year I've been there, tour managers, production managers. I've had interviews for tours with production managers that are there. I mean, it's just kind of like, I feel like it's more than just LDI, which is geared towards us, you know, the networking between us. I feel like it expands it a little bit more. You know what I mean? And that's something that I enjoy. Like, I like it. I like LDI. I like hanging out and drinking with you jerks. So, you know, hopefully there's a way to make them both thrive. And, you know, I mean, we'll see what the rest of this year holds.
Yeah, I mean, again, everybody I've talked to, and I've talked to loads of European manufacturers and even some US guys who went over and girls who went over for Plaza. And they said, like, I'd ask people, like I was talking with Chris Ferranti, the CEO of Ayrton a few days ago. And I asked him what he thought. And he said, as long as you accepted that it was a networking show, not a product show as much, it was an incredible show. From a networking standpoint, you know, these are people we haven't seen in 18 months or more. And it was incredible just getting back with people, talking about shows and jobs and projects and stuff they've got going on. So again, I mean, if I were doing a booth at LDI, which, you know, I'd almost consider doing that at this point, but if I were doing a booth at LDI, I would just have really comfy couches, a bar, you know, some goofy lounge music playing, or TVs to watch football or whatever it is, but it'd be a hangout and I'd be shaking hands and talking to people, not trying to show them new product.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, we used to joke about it, like way back in the day was at Group One, you know, they had Clay Packy at the time. Jack Kelly used to try to get Clay Packy, you know, sort of half joking, but not entirely, that, you know, you should stop doing these massive booths and do a really comfortable hangout place and throw your 2 or 3 main products on pedestals and give out pamphlets for everything else. Trying to spend all this money to do a big flash and trash show for a lot of attendees that don't need anything more than the pamphlet information because they're not necessarily ready to make massive purchases. But you know, it was one of those things. It was like, it was kind of brilliance before its time. They, you know, it was always very ego driven, obviously back then, because there's still a sort of moving light wars. But yeah, I think you're actually going to see a lot of that probably in the next few years, where people are just going to have to do that for survival because it just costs so goddamn much money to do a trade show. I mean, and that's on top of all of the advancements that the LDI committee had done to try and
on that point, Patrick. On that point, it's funny because I was having this conversation with somebody today. Back in the day, like I'm talking in the 90s, when I would do a big booth, we were talking $500,000, and I mean that was just insane money at that time. Like the last real big Martin booth was the one at Miami Beach, and our budget that year, including the Casey and the Sunshine Band party, was around $550,000.
Wow.
I mean, that's real money. But guess what?
And that's a damn good price, by the way, for the amount that was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We did a lot
for
of
those
shit.
of you that didn't attend that year. That was an absolutely massive year of stuff that Martin did. Just Martin. It was on top of everybody else doing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I love
but hang on one sec, Matt.
Yeah.
So I just want to finish the point. So I was talking to a particular manufacturer today, and their LDI budget generally is almost $1 million. And I was like, you've got to be shitting me. $1 million freaking dollars for one show, for one booth. And so, if that were me this year, I'd be going into that with about 200,000, and 100,000 of it would be spent on food and booze. I mean, I would just feed people and give them drinks and shake hands like crazy and just welcome everybody back into the light. The sun is out again. Sorry,
Can you
Matt.
imagine if no, I was just gonna say, I mean, trolling off of that, can you imagine that was every booth at LDI? Like, we'd be shit-faced after booth 2.
That's what nightclub and bar used to be like. It was just booze companies and fried
out shots and stuff.
I haven't been literally in. I think the last time I went to nightclub and bar, they gave me a beer buddy. Like, somebody was hanging out these beer buddies as swag, and it was a way to shotgun a beer. And I remember I think I went to their website and bought like 10 of them to give out to my buddies because they wanted to shotgun beers too. So I was much younger, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to, hopefully, like, the Chinese manufacturers would hand out, like, or the Japanese manufacturers would hand out sushi, so you could at least eat as you're going through.
Yeah.
Well, they're not invited this year, so.
Yeah, that's true. No, but I was gonna say, like, the thing about LDI, while the shows were impressive, I felt like I felt the booths, like, I liked GLPs because GLP was like, all right, this is our 10-minute show, and we are actually going to do a show that's dedicated solely to, this song is dedicated solely to this fixture. So you can truly see what it does, as opposed to all the other booths that were like, here's, this is our wash light, this is our profile. And they're all doing crazy shit all at the same time. It's hard to focus. But that might be just, I don't know.
That's just
you probably kissed that goodbye this year.
That's just your ADD talking. Having trouble focusing. There's too many good lights here. I want them all.
The one year I focused was when the weed convention was right next door.
There you go. There you go. Well, that's what I think we should do at LDI this year. We should just bring a lot of weed.
Is it illegal in Las Vegas?
It's legal in Vegas, man.
Oh, illegal in
Vegas. But 100% legal in Vegas.
Yeah.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
THC espresso in the morning.
Yeah,
You're
it's
still
so
not
weird.
supposed to smoke in public, but everybody does.
Yeah, whatever. I got
My-
CBD
my-
pancakes this morning.
my house in Canada is in a tiny little mountain town, right? And weed is legal nationally in Canada, but I was there until yesterday, and there's like got to be 10 weed stores in this tiny little town. Tiny, like every corner there's a weed store. I'm like, didn't this used to be like a bookstore, and now it's another weed store.
The Weedatorium.
It's crazy. In Vegas, they're all over the place. I literally have one. It's like we moved to a new place, is 100 yards down the road.
They just don't have them on
a
the
giant dispensary.
They don't have them on the strip though, right? That's
No, they do.
like that's
Dispensary strip.
Just off.
just off the strip. Yeah, it's like one street up from the strip. Yeah.
So there's one past the Wynn, as you in between the Wynn and Old Vegas down Fremont Street. There's another one on Las Vegas Boulevard, I believe. Might be too.
Yeah.
In
My
the
wife works
naked
at the
city.
dispensary, so it's there every day for us.
And the stupid thing is I don't do it. So like as so accessible that it is today, I kind of wish I did, because back when I did, you had to work really hard.
Cheaper than
to
wine,
get it.
Marcel.
It's true. I
I
mean,
never
but-
did it.
even
I only
start
got into it
like
recently. It's
an
fantastic.
edible when you're watching a movie or something. You know what I mean? Just start small.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
going
I-
in,
Marcel-
to do it.
Marcel would start with like a giant like blunt of doom.
He would
Yeah.
he would eat the entire chocolate bar.
Well, it's funny
Oh.
you should say that, because someone gave me some edibles and said, just try like a third of one. It'll just calm you down and put you to sleep. And I mean, I think I was asleep before I finished chewing it. You know? But I took a whole one. I didn't take a third. I took a whole one.
That's
Like,
Marcel. Like, here, take 1/3. Yeah, okay, that means
But-
one to me.
Yeah,
But I dreamt well. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
I had some
And how many times
crazy
did you
ass
get up to
dreams.
go to the bathroom? Zero.
None.
Right? You didn't get up
None.
like
No, none.
So-
But man, I woke up in the middle of the night going, I'm thirsty. Need some water. Jesus, what is this?
I was actually I was on tour with an artist that had a security guard, and it was our day off in Denver, and he had never done edibles and he wanted to. So he got the clearance from the artist that he was just going to do his thing for the day, got a chocolate bar and ate the whole damn thing, and ended up seeing the devil and Jesus fighting each other. They had to like call in members
Yeah.
of the band to like restrain him that know him well.
Nice.
That wasn't no
Yeah.
chocolate edible, my friend.
Yeah, that
Well,
wasn't a
he
chocolate
trashed.
edible.
He trashed the hotel room. It was like I
That
walked
sounds like
in.
a
I was like,
PCT
what the?
experience.
Yeah, that shit had a little stamp of like a Mitsubishi logo on it.
It reminded me of like
Yeah.
Motley Crue stayed there for the night or something like that.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
Good
You're
to see you,
smoking
Matt.
those crazy
Good to see
ones
you, Matt. We
again,
haven't,
Patrick.
haven't seen since you got a girlfriend. We haven't seen you, Matt. We've been hiding.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
on last week's call, but I was walking. I've been busy, man. Like, knock on wood, things have been great. I just did a corporate with New Kids on the Block, was the musical guest, so that was fun. And I did a bunch of fashion shows last week.
So you knew the music.
Yeah.
And the moves. They needed an extra dancer. Guess who showed up?
Yeah. No, it was cool. And I'm actually getting back to my theater roots.
Can
Friday.
you
I
imagine
had
Matt Gaminsky in like spandex dancing around to like
No,
Excuse me while I poke out my mental eye.
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I
But,
don't know if that would be really good.
Yeah, like this month's really good. It's busy. It's weird.
Awesome.
Like I got on Vectorworks for the first time in a hot minute, and I was like, how do I do this? It was interesting, but it was good. Like it's nice. I was supposed to do a tour with the Cult in October, but that got canceled because of COVID.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you don't really have to throw in that last part, do you?
Yeah.
They're not being canceled because of ticket sales or
I
know
mean,
if the building
had-
burned down.
Matt,
They hadn't gone on
Yeah.
sale yet. They actually
If
hadn't.
I'm wrong, are they still playing with Alice Cooper on the London dates?
Yeah. So that's in.
Yeah. So they canceled the U.S. stuff. Right?
Yeah, but that's not until 2022. The Alice Cooper
I
stuff.
thought that was October. I just
Alice is going out soon, like in October, because Cosmo was going to do it, and
Oh,
then
he is.
for some reason, no, he's not. He was going to do it.
I thought
was
that
gonna-
didn't Scott Warner do them for a while?
Somebody did, but then someone refused to get vaccinated.
Casinos, another crackdown on the VIP junket business.
Chris Duba's doing Alice Cooper.
Oh, he is. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
he's-
I'm gonna.
he's doing it with Chris Lyle.
Melco and
Okay, so I'm gonna hit up Chris Lyle then because if that's
Because Gurn is taking over Brian Wilson for Chris Duba.
got it. I love Gurn.
So
Good dude.
So
And look,
I just talked to him 10 minutes ago.
White
Oh, did you know?
casino for comment today.
who's
Why-
got something talking about casinos in the background?
why is
That
there-
you
think
got
it's
Sounds like
Steven.
Lynn. Sounds like
I
Lynn.
thought it was Lynn,
me.
but I muted her and it didn't work. So
No, it was
Well, it's
Steven.
another lady. It's not me.
Lynn, I muted you because we blamed you, and it was Marcia who wrongfully blamed you, but we knew it wasn't you, so you can
Okay,
unmute
well,
yourself.
Who were the other women? I only see Lynn and me as the two females. That
No,
was
I think
definitely
it's TV.
boys.
It's probably Matt listening to some,
No.
CNBC reporter or something.
New
Oh, I'm
Kids,
actually-
New Kids documentary.
I'm
He
actually
gets a little excited.
He's
by that.
listening. He's listening to Debbie Gibson, getting ready for the next gig.
It's Bob Hammond.
It's Bob
Happy
Hammond.
birthday. Happy birthday, Bob.
Hammond.
Happy
Wow.
birthday, Bob.
Happy
It's actually
friggin'
my
birthday.
birthday.
Is today your
Um,
birthday, Bob?
Yeah.
Let's all sing.
25.
Happy
Will you
healthy
still
birthday.
need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? That's tomorrow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Just a pup.
So just so you
Cheers,
know that
cheers
Alice.
to you, Bob.
Cheers.
Cheers, Bob. Happy
Cheers,
birthday,
Cheers,
buddy.
Bob. Cheers to all Virgos. Yay.
You can hold up a cup of coffee. It's all right. We know it's
I
like
know.
noon there or whatever.
So yeah, those cult Alice Cooper dates got pushed to May of next year.
For the U.S.
No, for
Oh.
the UK.
for Europe.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some dates still happening, from what I was told, anyways, like in October or something.
Yeah, I got an email about it yesterday. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, interesting.
David
Maybe worth a trip
Davidian-
to London, but
I spoke with David Davidian like last week or something, and they were still on.
I mean, they might be, but the ring that they're doing right now, they're doing a US run. So they're doing like amphitheaters.
Right.
Yeah, Alice
Okay.
Cooper's doing an amphitheater tour right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not, the cult's only joining that arena stuff in Europe. So
hey, did Ben Salzman jump on? Can't see
Not
him.
yet.
I was just talking to him. So going back to the LDI topic, I didn't realize that really can't have any foreigners coming in, can we? It's all still shut down.
it's hard because I know a lighting designer's Glasgow based and he's here doing a tour. Another lighting designer who did
On a work
fashion.
visa, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they had to go through the NIH. They had to apply and show proof of vaccination and all this stuff, but they were able to come over for work. So
have you
Yeah,
guys
there's-
heard of anybody coming over for LDI to just
I've
come
heard
and
of people coming for all kinds of stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I've talked to a lot of Europeans and stuff who are saying, well, we don't even know if we can come. So there's confusion at best. At worst, maybe nobody can come. But, you know, it's weird because I was just in Canada and Canadians, some are coming into the US. Like I just talked to somebody last week who said, yeah, I'm going to Detroit next week.
the border's
And I
open.
said,
The
it's
border's
not for Canadians to US. It's not until like October or November or something. They extended it again. And because Americans are allowed to go to Canada, Canadians aren't allowed to come to America. It's bizarre. Go look, it's for sure.
Yeah,
So
I'm Googling
here's
it.
something, just as an FYI for folks. So yesterday, me leaving Canada, coming here. So I've had COVID and I kept it kind of quiet because I didn't want to get my ass kicked on this call or others. But so I had it with the vaccine. Got over it within a couple of days. It wasn't a big deal, but so
That's
they
good.
tell you, yeah, thanks, Chris. So they tell you, and my girlfriend who was also vaccinated with a different vaccine, she got it as well. But anyways, going into Canada, we read all this stuff and they said you have to show proof of either a negative test or a positive test within between 14 and 120 days going into Canada. And because they don't want you testing again, because chances are you'll test positive, right? So we had the negative test, we had the doctor note that they wanted saying you're cleared to travel and you're good, no symptoms are present, etc. right? So did that, no problem going into Canada. Coming back yesterday, we were literally standing at the check-in counter, you know, and because status, not because I was bought a first class ticket, but because of status, I was at the first class check-in. We stood there for, had to be 75 minutes. And everybody, there was conferences between like 15 people. And because at first they said, you can't fly, you need a test. And I said, look, here's the CDC website. It says right here, do not test. And I mean, it's very clear in the rules, do not test. Have this. I had this, I handed it to her. She said, yeah, but this doctor's note is like 3 weeks old. And I said, well, because that's when I came to Canada, schmuck. I mean, what do you want me to do? Get a doctor in Canada to give me the same information? It doesn't say that anywhere in the rules. So point being, most of the people that you'll deal with in these cases, like there's obviously still a lot of confusion out there. They don't know the rules. They really don't understand the rules really well.
Nope.
So be very well prepared and have the information yourself is the only thing I could say, because eventually you'll get through
Print
to
it
them
up
and
and bring it with you.
that's exactly what I did. I have it sitting right here. It says Marcel's positive test result, you know, and I had my girlfriend's one as well. So,
well, I got on the flip side of that, I had to test for work and my rapid came back positive, but I didn't have COVID because I got 2 more PCRs to back it up. And but they still treated me like I was positive. So I had contact tracing calling me every day for 10 days. I told them the same story. I'm vaccinated, I wear a mask, like I'm not in high risk situations. Nobody I'm with has COVID.
Why are you getting those calls though? I didn't get any calls.
New York is pretty
okay. Yeah.
ridiculous about it. But the thing
They
crazy
plan to chip in your ass, I guess. We didn't get that.
Well, they report all the tests to the state. So if you're reported
not all of them. They don't report the negatives. They only report the positives. So when I got a positive rapid, the nurse called me and said, "You have COVID." And I said, "Can we back that up with my PCR?" And she said, "I destroyed it." And I said, "Why'd you destroy it?" She goes, "Because your rapid came back positive." And I said, "But when I get a negative rapid, you have to back it up with a negative PCR. How does it not work the other way around?"
Well, and from what I understand, negative rapid tests are much more accurate than positive rapid tests. Positive fail all the time. They're false positives, right?
So, I mean, they basically
Crazy.
for 10 days treated me like I had COVID, and I went back twice to get PCR tests, and they don't report those positive tests to the New York Health Department. So all my paperwork that I had saying I'm negative, they weren't getting. So they just assumed I still had COVID.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I told every day I told them the same story, and they said they updated the notes and they didn't see those notes.
Well, you know, it's funny because everyone seems to have different rules. Like I said, I mean, at the American Airlines thing yesterday in Calgary, it was a nightmare because they had no clue. And I was trying really hard to educate them. I'm like, look, I put this on my phone just to make sure I could, because I anticipated this. Like, I never go to the airport 2 hours before my flight, but I went 2.5 hours before this one because I anticipated it completely. I knew what was going to happen because, you know, if you go there with the weird thing to me was that I was like the first person that went there with a positive test. You know, somebody else must have done that because that's the rules.
But then
right?
they probably met other people. You know, I mean, how many people work there? How many desk agents are there? You know, like,
true. But I mean, they were conferencing with, you know, so eventually they were on the help desk. They were on the help desk with American Airlines. And so they were on hold for 20 minutes while they had a conversation on the other end. And so I'm standing there because I walked over to where they were having their conference. I'm standing there and some guy comes back on and goes, "They're clear to fly. Thank you." I'm like, finally. So completely bizarre, but it you know, it's always challenging when people don't know the rules. Hey, something else I wanted to bring up. And I've known the guy for 20 years, but I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Andy Lelowicz from, he used to run the Tampa Bay, the Ice Palace in Tampa where the Lightning play. Nobody knows Andy? Great guy. I mean, he was like the production manager or whatever there, the tech guy, but he's apparently on his deathbed right now. So his daughter posted something on his Facebook page today that I happened to see when I was on my way out of Facebook jail. And she said, you know, he's probably not going to make it the next day or two. So if anyone knew him, I was just going to let you know.
Sad. Sorry.
Very sad.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, he's, again, really nice guy. It's weird and maybe it's age related, but I've known way too many people who've died in the last year or so, more so than ever before in my life. So again, maybe it's just my age. Maybe I'm getting up there and all my friends are getting old too. So
wait till you get
Bum
into
that
your
happens
60s,
and you can't do anything about it.
yeah, it's true, Mark. It's true.
Wait
I remember
another 10
my
years.
My ex-father-in-law said to me one time, you know what sucks when you get old? You go to a lot more funerals than you do weddings. And I went, yeah, that's actually pretty right. You ain't wrong there. So I haven't gone to a wedding in a while. I guess then once you get a little bit older than I am now, you start going to friends' daughters or sons' weddings, right? And giving them money.
Or your kids start having kids like mine are.
Oh, Jesus. You're old, Mark.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, I am.
Did I see Marcel? I think Betsy's had her 5th grandkid.
Jesus.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, her kids are fertile as hell. That's cool. Yeah, I follow her and her husband gallivanting around the world. Cosmo! Jesus. It's nice of you to show up. He can't hear us yet. He's just sitting there looking all beautiful. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, Cosmo.
What's up, Cosmo?
Aloha, Cosmo.
It's super 9/11, man. God damn, those were good photos that you've been sharing with us. We appreciate it, Cosmo.
Been reticent to get involved in elections and to look at fraud.
Whoa.
How to change.
Somebody's got the news on at warp volume. That's Cosmo. You can't play Zoom and Fox News at the same time, Cosmo.
But
Now you're muted.
You have
Now you've got
to,
neither of them. You
This guy
muted the
can
wrong
light-
window.
This guy can light the shit out of a show, but he can't Zoom.
I can't run sound either.
Me neither.
That's true.
Oh, you're back at work. He's got the Gateway shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cosmo.
There he is. He's back.
When'd you get back?
From New York on Monday.
You sound tired.
I am.
Mm.
I hit the ground running here, so yeah, it was a long couple of weeks in New York, and it's straight back to Gateway.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, it
Anyway,
was
it was-
awesome.
it was
You
great.
guys got some killer press on that. That Esquire article was kick ass. And
I know. I was surprised.
so amazing. So
Mhm.
amazing.
I got it. There's a picture of me in Esquire. Can you believe that shit?
That is crazy.
Yep.
Your
I got
son,
GQ left.
yeah, you're suddenly the symbol of style. Yeah.
I told you Hawaiian shirts would come back.
You and Bob, look at you. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed you in New York, bud.
Yeah, well, everybody. There's a lot of people in New York, but it was just so everybody was busy, and I was so busy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say we're busy as opposed to this time last year.
Well, exactly. I mean, everybody says we went from 0 to 150 miles an hour like that.
It's true.
But it's so weird. It's all still so weird. Like I had a call today with Burroughs, and I've been kind of hiding from Craig Burroughs because, I almost felt guilty because we've sold so many Roby fixtures recently on the used market. Like I'm talking, hundreds of them, many hundreds of them. And so I said, I'm half embarrassed, but I think it's also pretty positive for Roby that so many used fixtures are moving around because, you're back ordered or whatever. And he's like, no, dude, I don't care. So, yeah, but I mean, it's such a weird market right now. Like you talk to somebody and he's super high one day, happy. Oh my God, I got 1,000 shows going on. And then you talk to him the next day and it's like, oh my God, what's happening? Everything canceled.
I'll tell you that in Honolulu, we are limited to 25 people in a group.
Oh my God. We're back to that again.
Oh, again. And they said it was because the hospitals were full. Now they're listening to the gal that runs the Department of Health. And I totally get that. But we were up at 450 out of supposedly 500 available beds when they started this. They're down to 350 now, and it's still got a week to go. And they're actually talking about cutting it down to 10 people.
Wow.
So 25 people, does that include a concert?
Well,
so you could only have a
includes
concert
everything.
for 25
Like-
people? Everything.
Like a wedding.
Oh my goodness.
And
What about proof of vaccination, Bob?
they don't care. Now with vaccination, however, you can get into a gym or a restaurant at half capacity. But venues, they won't even talk about it.
Okay, so I wanted to ask
Did they
you
start
guys
spacing
this.
people out at the airport, or is it still at the 2.5 hour line jammed
Well,
within 6
I mean-
inches of people to get in?
there's 6 across in the airplane.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's
for 5.5
incredible, isn't it?
hours. That's enough to get trouble.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you guys this because it's something that's been bugging me because I did get COVID and I was vaccinated. So somebody was telling me today, and I can't remember who it was, but it was for a concert or a sporting event or something. You had to be vaccinated and a negative test was not sufficient. So they didn't accept negative tests, only vaccinations. And to me, a negative test is much more effective than a vaccination because I'm vaccinated. And at some point I was walking around with the dreaded disease. So I could have been handing it off to people, but still able to walk into, you know, a restaurant or a baseball game or a, you know, concert or whatever. Right. So am I the only one that thinks this way?
Well, and the other
Holy
dumb thing is you can't
shit,
prove
Josh
any of
doesn't
them.
have that massive diaper on. Josh,
it's a good
where are
point,
you?
Marcel. It's a good point.
Well, I will say this one thing. I did go to a concert 3 weeks ago, right before the We Love New York Rain Out show, to see the Killers. And you had to show proof. It was at Terminal 5. You had to show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID test. The problem with
that would be the gold standard, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, but the problem with that was that they were supposed to go on at 9, and at 8:45 there was still a line wrapped around the venue and down the block, and they had to hold the show for about an hour because the venue.
Well, it's insanity that there's not a simple freaking scan my phone thing or whatever. You know,
we do.
There is.
We do.
No, but I mean completely global, like for everyone. You know what I mean?
That's on Live Nation and the venues. I think what they need to do is get their operations side better because you're not just scanning people with a wand anymore. You're checking their documentation.
Well,
there's a lot.
You can also fake an ID, a vaccine card. You can even fake a test. You know, if they really want to get around this, I mean, there's going to have to be a medical solution where they touch your skin.
I mentioned this last week. Cosmo, and I met a guy in Canada who now has the Canadian and US rights for a new test that's a spit test. And it's 2 minutes. You have a result in 2 minutes. It's very, very highly accurate, like 90-something% accurate. And I was thinking, why don't we do that? I mean, it's not invasive at all. It's a spit test. And you know, within 2 minutes.
The public does the spit test like once a week in addition to their other testing. But once a week, everybody has to get the spit test.
Who's
and
that?
they all hate it because the public theater in New York, Shakespeare in the Park, they all hate it because it's disgusting because people always spit on their hands. They like, you know, whatever.
I'd rather have that than a you know, a Q-tip like somewhere up here in my frontal lobe, you know?
So conversely, Marcel, what do you know, I mean, to just say another scenario, when I was at the Egg Performance Center in Albany to see Melissa Etheridge, there was no testing, no carding, no nothing. What was mandatory, everybody in the Performance Center had to be masked. If you were in the Performance Center, you had a mask on, period, end of story. So there, do you think that is an alternative to the question mark of how to guarantee a safe audience?
Hold on, Marcia. I would like to ask, did they serve food and alcohol there?
They did.
In which case, those masks aren't staying on.
There was alcohol while you were drinking, but you had to be in specific areas if you were drinking, and all that was very limited.
Yeah. So, Marcia, my response to that, since you addressed it to me, I get to respond.
Only because you're
just like in court.
Our leader here. You're our leader.
No, I'm no leader, but and I certainly don't know any more than anybody else, and I know less than most people about this topic. But myself personally, if I had to put my life on it, if I really believed that COVID was going to kill me, I wouldn't rely on a mask. I would only rely on a negative test. So if you're walking into my house and I'm pretty confident that that test is accurate and you're negative of COVID, I'm going to hug you and whatever else, right? I'm going to be perfectly happy being around you. Mask, not so much, and vaccine, not so much. So my only question, again, it wasn't political, it wasn't divisive, it wasn't anything other than just from a logic standpoint. Like, I don't think if everyone's getting this Delta variant with the vaccine, then the vaccine isn't the gold standard, using Bob's word. The gold standard really is either a negative test, which is a reliable test, or a negative test and the vaccine if you really want to go the distance, right? So I don't know.
Well, it's all about what you're trying to stop. If you're trying to mitigate spreading, there's one method to go about it. If you're trying to just cover your ass with,
what is that method though, Chubbs?
Well, one of the reasons I'm asking is because I am involved in an upcoming event on the planning committee, and this is one of the monkey wrenches that has been thrown in our committee meetings in the last couple of weeks. Our event's not till May. Obviously, there's deadlines and monies to make, and what do we do to help to protect ourselves? So there's a whole lot of discussions, and that's kind of why I asked the question, because there's
so the
things on
deadlines
table
and the
with
money
us.
to make will
No,
probably, unfortunately, take precedence.
No,
because
not
it's a
money
business.
to make. Sorry, Patrick, not money to make, that we have deadlines to pay deposits. So we have to make decisions if and how we want to proceed with the event. So things
So
like
along the same
testing
lines,
and mandates
money's going
have
to
been on the
transfer.
table.
That's going to hang in the balance of a decision on this. And unfortunately, I'll be the ugly American that speaks it, that trumps all. And that is what basically the difference between what are you trying to do? Going back to what I was saying before, are you trying to mitigate the spread, or are you trying to legally cover your ass and say that you have put procedures in place to do your part, right?
I think it's
So if you want to stop the
both of
thing,
those.
you're going to
Good point.
guarantee, like, for instance, let me finish. For instance, I just came off a 3-week run of multiple projects that ran the gamut for the different types of testing that and requirements you would have for an event. So I was doing a corporate event where we're all going to be in close proximity. We're going to be in close proximity to upper level executives where corporations are very much protecting them. So we needed to provide proof of vaccination, and we needed to be tested every day. And we made sure that we were as cautious as possible to mitigate any potential spread. Mm-hmm. I went from there to the Made in America Festival, where I'm surrounded by 80,000 people. I had to show proof of vaccination to be on site, or I didn't have to show proof of vaccination and I had to wear a mask. So you had the option for being on that site. So obviously all the crew, we were all vaccinated, so it was no problem, but we still wore masks because at the end of the day, that's not guaranteeing it. As Marcel was saying before, you take a negative test, that's actually showing that you at that time are the least likely to have this thing. Otherwise, it's a crapshoot. Vaccination doesn't stop you from getting it or transmitting it. That's the fact. It just seems to mitigate your symptoms if you do catch it. And so we're still transmitting this thing. So you have to do everything in your power.
There's one foolproof method, Marcia, is to not do the show. That's 100% foolproof. Nobody's going to get sick. No, but I wouldn't do that.
The point is, when we go into a meeting and we're talking about an event that's 8 months down the road, and we need to make a shit or get off the pot decision by the middle of December, we would like to know how to proceed. And if we're executing a way to make this as safe as possible, that's why I'm asking your input. And Patrick's advice.
Marcia, another thing.
Bob Harmon, hang on a sec, Patrick.
I'd actually like to ask.
I
have a question for Chubbs Mahoney.
Yes.
Chubbs, so the you said you have Allegiant Stadium, and they've made it's been all
great
over the
game
press.
The other night, by the way. Holy shit, that was a football game.
Pretty amazing.
That was insane. Like,
right,
holy Christ. If you weren't a
was the
NFL
Raiders.
fan before that, it was like, holy Christ.
It is the Raiders. I'm a Raiders fan. We'll come back to that in a minute.
I'm not, but that was fun as hell.
But
it was a great game.
They say that Allegiant Stadium has the toughest rules to get in. They demand a vaccination, or you can get a shot on site and be told to wear a mask. And once you're into the venue, unless that is your situation, you can go maskless.
That is the Raiders rules. That's not the stadium.
Okay, well, that's
that
really
is just for the Raider games. They had a UNLV football game last week. No rule. No, you don't have to show anything to get in.
Interesting.
So that is,
So
that is what the Raiders are requiring.
So the reason I'm asking you, Mr. Mahoney, is that I'd like to know the outcome of that, because that's a huge, I run the Hawaii Events Coalition. To me, when they're worrying about 10 people, if I could have the example of 50,000 people and little or no transfer, then that would be an amazing thing to know. So I'm asking you to keep me updated on the outcome.
Yeah, I'll see what we end up getting. I am very curious as to what our ultimate numbers are going to be after this festival. Because you're going,
Life is beautiful.
Very similar. Yeah, we got Life is Beautiful coming up. I mean, you've had multiple sold out events, at the almost 70,000 person range in Allegiant Stadium. We had the 80,000 last Sunday for Made in America. It's massive crowds with the ability to be super spreader events if that were actually the case.
Right.
Marcia, one of the things I would caution is really for anybody that's involved with the new technologies of approving vaccination status and things like that. So one of the things that the Raiders have implemented is the Clear app, and you're simply uploading your Vax card to the app itself, and it's holding that. It gets approved, and it's sort of the accreditation saying you have an electronic format. I understand that New Yorkers have their Excelsior app, and California's got one, and Clear seems to be the one that, from what all the officials are gathering, is the most well set up for widespread universal usage.
I have some more on that, if you don't mind my interrupting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Safe Travels Hawaii, which they have not called Clear, is in fact run by Clear. And in order for us to go to a restaurant, you have to upload your lot number and the date that you had this. And then it goes to the Hawaii database, confirms that you are, that yes, you had it on these two dates. Which means, by the way, you want to keep that stuff secret in general so that it wouldn't.
Yeah. Bob, one thing I would say, and Patrick, is that I hate government mandates, but I think we should have a government mandated app. There should be a single app that is not too intrusive, that doesn't follow you around and, tell people if you're cheating on your wife or whatever. It should just be a government mandated app that says, and maybe it's not the government, maybe it's Google, maybe it's, I don't care who it is, but a simple app where you got to put your health stuff into it related to COVID. And, this is technically a Republican talking and saying that I think we should have this, but it's just too complicated otherwise. We need a simple app that everyone has the same information, and it's not on
centralized,
your forehead, but it's on your
depository.
phone.
I mean, it sounds like the lighting control world before DMX. Every fixture had a different protocol.
Sorta, yeah.
I will say to back up what Dearson is saying. For fashion, you had to show they mentioned the Clear app specifically. So everyone was using fashion, but at fashion they were using Clear. But if you had the New York Excelsior, you could show that. Or you can show a photo, or actually show the pass. But I agree with you that it sounds like
everybody
is the thing.
Let me finish the whole thing I was trying to tell you about, because
can I go get more wine then? Because
please do, yeah. Because
this sounds like I might need some.
No, if you're involved with productions using these new technologies, you really do have to work your way through the realistic downfalls of where the technology will fail you. So a few of the things we ran into in using the Clear app, all of our credentials, for starters, were black in nature on both sides with the print on it. Then you're using the Clear app. So you've got a credential and a Clear app to show obviously who you are and that you're matching up with your app, with your Vax card on the digital app. The Clear app does not work worth a shit in low light conditions. So once the sun goes down at that festival, or you've got a venue doors opening at 8 p.m., you have to make sure that at your security screening areas, you have a significant amount of ambient light flooding people's faces so that the app can actually center them up and go through the facial recognition clearance. So there was a huge problem with that ultimately ended up with the security staff, when it wouldn't work, simply saying, well, do you have a picture of your card, or do you have your actual card? Just show it to us. right? So
Yeah.
all of a sudden the app goes out the window in some points. On the flip side, during the day, you had a production that was using a QR code scanning with black shiny passes, and the scanners wouldn't work during the day because the sun reflecting off of everything. So then you had to shade everything. So,
but again, Patrick,
all of this vaccination stuff, there's a whole backbone of technical problems that you want to work through prior to starting your event so that you're prepared, not figuring this stuff out.
But everything you just said is exactly what I'm saying, like where we need a simple app that everything works on. Because like, quite honestly, when I look at these vaccine cards, I laugh. Like, would a ticket taker at a concert accept this vaccine card as a ticket, like scribbled on and scratched out and maybe scribbled back on? We wouldn't accept these as entrance to an event, yet we're accepting them as potentially life-saving documents that are going to keep everybody safe. It's a bunch of bullshit. So we need a simple sort of unified app. But I wanted to get to Ellen here for a second, because you weren't here, Ellen, when we were talking about LDI earlier. And because you're the only person brave enough to come on from your company, whatever it's called this week. I don't know who owns you guys this week, but it was Penton and it was something else before that, and then it was something else, and I have no idea who owns you guys. So
in the past 10 years, I know.
Corporate label above Ellen, whatever it is.
The guy that used
you're
to work
the only
for Trackman, Martin,
spokesperson.
Samsung.
It's called Questex now, yeah.
Hush up, Patrick Dearson. I will mute you. So, we were talking a little bit earlier before you got on about the fact that NAB has canceled now. And so I've gotten a bunch of calls in the last 24 hours from people who have said, what's going to happen to LDI, because obviously all these shows are canceling. And so on the plus side, we've all heard from people, and Steve Warren was supposed to be here today, shame on him, but we've all heard from people who said that Plaza was an incredible event from a networking standpoint. And so I've spoken to a lot of people, and my advice to manufacturers who have called me is that if it's a networking show, let's make it a networking show. Like, I wouldn't put a big light show or whatever. I would probably put all my money into buying people drinks and food and putting leather couches all over the place and making it really comfortable and fun in a big lounge setting, right? So, I know we've all heard that ETC canceled LDI. I've heard some other companies are considering canceling. I've heard from a few of those companies and I've told them not to, but I'm booking my flights tomorrow. Claudette, who's the COO in my company and is sitting right next to you on this particular call that I'm looking at anyways. I was talking to her today about us actually doing our corporate meeting in Las Vegas this year, because we're a completely remote company, GearSource is, and flying everybody in from all over the place to meet in Las Vegas at LDI and have a couple of days of meetings attached to the show. So what say you?
Well, what the company obviously made a corporate decision to require vaccinations. And those letters went out to all speakers, exhibitors, and attendees. And there have been very few people who have responded negatively to that. I'd say 90% of the people have said, yeah, we're vaccinated, no problem. One issue is kids, because a lot of people have registered for their kids, and the kids like under 12 or whatever can't get vaccinated, or even under 16. So that's a question mark that's floating around right now, whether they can still bring unvaccinated children or not. And yes, our expectations are that LDI will be smaller than 2019, which was our biggest show ever. But we still think if we're the first ones out of the gate, it'll be great, and who's ever there is going to, like the last one time, some big company, not to be renamed because I can't remember which one it was not at the show. And after, they were like, man, we're really sorry we weren't there, because our clients got a lot of orders written because we weren't there, and everybody flocked to their booth instead. So I say, who's ever there is going to, have a great time. Support the industry. Everybody, if 80,000 people want to go to Patrick's, festival, I'd say, there's a couple thousand people that want to go to LDI, and You know,
Yeah.
even in the old days when there were 3, 4, 5,000 people there, it was still a great show. It was a great experience.
Well, let me ask this: is anyone on this call not going to LDI this year?
That's a question mark for me right now.
All right,
I'm
Osmo,
hoping
you're not
to.
going.
I'm not
hoping.
going
I don't
only because
know.
I'm going to be in Atlanta on a show, but
Okay.
otherwise.
And I'm not trying to single anybody out and make you look
No,
bad. or
I
anything
want to
like that.
go, but my schedule may not allow.
Yeah.
If I can go,
So-
I'm going.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I'm planning on booking it in the next day or two. Fortunately, airlines and stuff, in case Ellen or the evil people above Ellen decide to cancel at some point. Airlines are pretty flexible these days. They're lame as hell, but they're flexible. So, Eric, any
I have a
perspective
ticket
from a
I
manufacturer
have a-
standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, I have a plane ticket. It's just like I have a voucher from a flight that was canceled. I was planning on using it, but I might just shorten my time there. I mean, I might come in for a day or two. I don't know.
Because it's a boring show, or because
No,
what?
I just, there's something about, like, I don't know. I'd probably still wear a mask, honestly.
Is it
scared to be
because you
around a big
is it
crowd,
because
is
you
what
miss your girlfriend?
There's nothing.
You'll miss your girlfriend too much?
I missed all my boyfriends and girlfriends on the Zoom call that I love to see.
Oh.
So
Well, we said that, you don't have to wear a mask, but they're certainly optional. A lot of people are like, well, we're going to, and we're like, that's fine, please do.
I mean, that's still like what I do, even with these like fashion gigs that I did. Everyone was vaccinated, but I still wore a mask. It's just, I mean, consider it a blankie or something. Like I just feel more comfortable wearing it in public. Do I like it?
I went to a concert the other night, first post-pandemic indoor venue, only a couple hundred people. And it was Vax card at the door and mask the whole time. And these poor kids that are the staff, they're going around saying, okay, you've had 3 sips, pull your mask back up, but they did it and people were fine with it.
I went to the football game Saturday here with, I don't know, 50,000 people. We got our butts kicked. And, you had, on your ticket, before you showed up, they e-blasted everybody that you had to have vaccine or a negative test or, and you had to mask and all that stuff. They didn't check vaccines. They didn't check for negative tests. They just wanted to know you had a ticket when you walked in. And people were walking around and wearing masks, but once people were in their seats, masks were gone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw a picture of you on Facebook with no masks. You and your buddies.
There was nobody wearing masks. There was nobody wearing masks.
I was watching
Peer
the game
pressure.
and I thought I might see you on TV, Eric, in the stands there.
Well, he
Where
blends
was
in because
there?
he's wearing those silly USC clothes.
I was there.
Yeah.
Hey, it's your team. Hey, Marcel, our Finns won on Sunday.
At least we're
I'm
getting a new
going on
coach.
Sunday.
At least we're getting
I'm
a new
going
coach.
on Sunday. Look. I'm going on Sunday.
Rock on. Yoo-hoo.
All right,
Yeah.
Mark,
Quick
I don't want to talk
screenshot
about
that.
Shut up.
So I've got an interesting question.
Oh, actually, I probably shouldn't show tickets on a freaking video YouTube
recorded.
thing, right?
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, so edit. What's the time here? All right, good. As if I know how to do that. Come on now.
Someone
So
will be
should,
sitting in your seats.
That's all
Should
right.
health insurance companies lower the rate on people vaccinated? Because health insurance is a bet against.
No,
having
come on.
payout.
That's such a friggin' slippery slope.
It might
know,
be, but I
I
can
don't
tell
know.
you that.
So if you eat a Twinkie right now, I should raise your rates.
Absolutely.
I don't know. How do they do it in Canada?
And wait, I'm going to take a screenshot of everybody who's drinking here, and I'm going to raise your rates. Come
Well,
on.
the question,
I've
Joey,
gotten-
is, the
Bob,
question is,
you're usually a very sensible man.
I
Stop
know,
it.
but it's
Well,
a
here's the
controversial
question,
subject.
though.
I want to bring
here's
it
the
up.
question though. In some places, the hospitals are totally overrun. They don't know what to do with people who need any kind of surgery whatsoever because they're all full of COVID patients. Or is that fake news? Somebody was giving me a
Yeah.
hard time yesterday about how it's not true, that they're just telling you that everybody that's in the hospital for COVID is not vaccinated because they want you to get vaccinated.
I don't even want to answer it for fear of being attacked, but
I mean,
I
I'll
can
tell
tell
you-
you.
I'll tell you it's true. Upstate New York, they've closed their, like women can't.
Have you
Right.
been to the hospital or have you read that?
it is multiple agencies reporting this from the right, left, and center. This is not.
Marcel, I get Albany TV, and that covers pretty much upstate New York, and that's exactly it. I think that
I'm not
they had
questioning
to
you, or
turn
I'm not
away-
saying you're
No,
wrong.
I'm just saying that I've seen it on multiple networks, so I don't. think
I'm
it
not
was
being
fake
partisan.
news.
I'm not being partisan here. I'm literally saying that.
I'm not
Right.
either.
I
I'm
think
confirming it
Right,
was
but I
on
think
the
that-
news.
I think the answer to Bob's question is if the healthcare system in England, France, anywhere, United States is being taxed because there are 99% of the COVID patients are non-vaccinated, do you want to give a break to those who are because they're not taxing the system? I don't know. It's complicated. It's
Well,
very
Delta's charging $200 more a month for their employees' health insurance if they're not vaccinated.
well. There you go. Then.
Right,
There's an
because
example.
Delta has to cover a tremendous amount of their care costs
Right.
because of the insurance they use. That's why they're doing that.
Right.
Well, and also
They're basically
typically,
self-insured.
typically insurance companies will increase your rate if you're a risk rather than decrease your rate because you're not.
And let's face it, what insurance company has ever lowered the cost of their rate for anything?
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
on the other hand, they might raise the cost of those unvaccinated. Now, I only
Well,
bring this
actually-
up for a second.
I
Not
think
to
you
No,
should really
actually-
shut up because you're giving the government good ideas.
No, but actually, as a business, and which we are one, you pay whatever your rate is, and then at the end of wherever they check these periods, I don't remember if it's quarterly or annually, they actually give you a rebate if you haven't spent, like if you've underspent what they thought you were going to spend. So it's sort of in reverse, like, they kind of give you a rebate back if you're healthy, which is kind of a good thing.
Right.
So again, I
Some of
don't
them,
bring this
probably
up
not
for
all
On
of them.
my
trouble.
insurance.
Well, it is a
I've
slippery slope because it's like a pool, and some years you pay in the whole year and you don't get any, you're not sick, but another year you really need it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, so
Well, that's
so
insurance,
isn't-
right? They sell
Right.
they sell umbrellas on sunny days and then take them back as soon as it starts raining.
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess I brought this up because it's controversial. So now consider this for a second, because they did allow people, the local government, state basically
Bye,
said,
Cosmo.
federal,
Hi.
Hi, Cosmo.
Hi.
See ya.
basically said that, you know what, you have the option, you can either get a vaccination or you're going to be subject to taking tests. Suddenly the places that have tests became overrun because they didn't have enough tests to test these people. They can't go back to work without one. And all these places that are doing tests are saying, I'm sorry, we have to limit our capacity to people who are showing symptoms or not, which is putting people out of work.
Well, like the CVS near me, I'm in Philadelphia at the moment. They have a 6-pack of self-tests.
Yeah,
And,
like Walmart has self-tests.
Yeah,
That's
so a lot of
Walmart.
people are doing that now.
I have a 30-pack at the office
Well, there you go.
because, sometimes you have gigs that come up and people need to get tested.
Yep, there you go. That
What are you
seems to be
eating, Chris?
into that.
Avocado and cucumber salad.
Ah, Mr. Healthy Guy.
So I have a question for the group, and this is not COVID related, but it's pandemic related.
Awesome. Oh, fuck.
So I'm bidding out a bunch of stuff right now, and the Christie Light family, this is not directed towards you. This is something else. And I'm noticing that a lot of the rates are coming back higher. Is anyone else noticing that gear is going out?
Everything got up.
Matt, I'll tell you what, are you free tomorrow? Come to my shop. I will be there. The shelves are bare.
That's great.
We have nothing.
That's great for
there's-
you guys.
Yeah,
There's no reason to give it away right now.
No, and I get that.
crap going out.
And I get that, but what we talked about, like during this,
Demand is so high, we can't keep up.
no, it's
So
great.
we can't keep discounting. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, no, and that's great for you guys. But I'm saying, like, I wanted to do a small cable order for a package. It came back for 4 weeks. It came back for like at 14 grand or $1,400. for a couple of PowerCon through one, like just ungodly amount of money. And I've just never seen that before.
Yeah, Matt, just to give you an idea,
Man,
since COVID started, I've done 2 seasons of the same show. One's the last August 2020 when we first came out of COVID. And the rates between the shows did go up on the second season, but that was only because of sub costs and everybody being empty. I don't see any of the rental companies doing a gouge or a because they can. It really is. Everyone I've been dealing with has been passing on the additional costs, but no one's gouging.
Okay, that's.
I would agree with that.
And the only reason I ask is we had this conversation back last year where we were like, you know, we can't, like, is it going to happen? Our rental house.
Yeah, everybody's going to behave nicely, right? Is pretty much what we always said.
Yeah, that
and
we're going to.
Honestly, what I'm seeing for the most part, Matt, is that people are behaving nicely, but you know, stock goes down, prices go up. Stock goes up, prices go down, and so they're definitely adjusting based on inventory levels and stuff.
And it really depends on how flexible
Chris, you're too far from the
with
microphone.
The more flexible I am with fixture selection and everything else, that obviously puts it back in, because that's less that whatever rental house is going to have to sub. If I'm going to be specific,
very good point.
Then I'm paying a cost for that specificity.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I agree with you.
The other thing, Matt,
we're paying significantly more product.
The other piece is cable is the most maintenance heavy part of a shop. And like when I left the shop today, there was 12 guys working in the cable bay, and they're working, I think, 8 to 8 today. So,
But I'm just saying, like a $500 or $600 cable package, doubled up. You know what I mean? It's just
you're not being gouged. It's literally our costs have gone up. I mean, I don't know who you got the quote from, but costs have gone up. You know, trucking is up.
Yeah.
Labor.
Shop labor is up.
Absolutely.
That's if you can get the guys to show up.
That's the point.
It's one of our biggest issues right now, staff.
Wait a sec, hold it. You just opened a door for I got to tell you this. You need a story for a moment. So I've got a buddy who did a show in Kona, and Kona has a problem because the outer island labor, surf was up, and his entire drag out crew did not show up. So what did he do to solve it? He pulled over 6 taxi cabs, put them all on waiting time, and had him haul his gear out. I thought that was pretty brilliant.
Do you not have lawyers or insurance companies in Hawaii?
Scheduled it during low tide.
Well, I mean, I thought it was creative. Sorry.
It's very creative, but somebody's going to get in trouble.
Island time, man. You get the job done.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess Hawaii taxi drivers are different than New York taxi drivers too, you know.
Oh yeah.
Probably a little bit different.
I'm sure you can be restrictive too. You see a large local in a car and you go, I need you. And you see, you know, a smaller person, you go, next, you know.
Yeah. You're racist.
Ooh.
I'm joking, Bob.
Oh,
I'm joking.
sure.
I've had a glass and a half.
I think I'll just
strength profiling.
Marcel, can I fill your glass up? I think you're getting a little low on your wine.
Oh. Yeah. So what else? I mean, again, the Raiders game was incredible.
Raiders game was unbelievable.
That Raiders game was so crazy. I kept trying to go to bed, but I couldn't because it was just so damn good, you know?
Not a fan, but that was a really good game.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a fan of the Raiders, and I'm not really a big NFL fan right at the moment, but that was a good game. That was like hard to shut off. You couldn't do it. I would have bet so much money on the Ravens like before that last series, because it was like, okay, the Raiders screwed up. You know, the Ravens are going to win this now easily because they missed the field goal and blah, blah, blah. It was crazy. Such a good game.
Well, Marcel, as a Canadian, you and Claudette must be very proud of your little Layla Fernandez, who knocked it out of the park all the way to the finals of the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a brilliant! I mean, what an amazing young woman. The two of them, teenagers. The one who won for
huge,
the UK
huge
and
future,
Fernandez.
huge future for Canadian
Huge,
tennis.
amazing, and so
Cahill,
poised.
are you a
so
tennis
up.
fan?
Huge, yes. And player, I've always been.
No, I'm asking Anthony.
I've been
Anthony.
too
Oh, I'm
busy
sorry.
in the last 3 days to watch anything, to be honest with you.
Oh, shut up. Just because you got a job, finally, quit complaining.
Oh yeah, congrats.
Yeah, look at him all dressed up instead of on a jet ski. Pretty funny. You're wearing like a shirt with a collar and stuff. What the hell? You've sold
I wore
out.
steel toes today, and I had my gloves on all day.
Damn.
Were they white?
No, I mean that
white?
USL. So here's a funny thing, Marcia. So I'm a huge tennis fan, as you know, and I had it on in the background the entire time I was in my house in Canada, and so I never watched women's finals. I watched the women's final because I didn't even care. Honestly, I'm Canadian. I didn't care who won that because both of those girls are incredible as far as I'm concerned. They're both just unbelievable stories. Both just wow, I can't believe what they did. And I really like that. I can't remember her name, so I call her Ratatouille. I like her a lot, the British one. And yeah, but she's actually Canadian. She was born in Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, she's Canadian.
No kidding. Well, you know,
So
it
anyways,
was great, and it was really
but
great.
but
to
here's
see
the thing.
youngins.
So Sunday I had problems because Sunday there was the F1 race, and then at 2:00 there was like two things going on. There was tennis and there was something else that I had to watch it. Oh, the Dolphins game. 2:00 in Canada, in Calgary, where I was in the mountains. And so at 2:00 there was all this stuff, and then somebody came to my house, like a contractor came to my house at 2:00 as well. So I got all freaking discombobulated, and I forgot to watch the freaking men's tennis final. So I'm at dinner later with friends, and they go, "Did you see that final today?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot." And so I can't believe Djokovic lost and Medvedev won. That was pretty cool.
Medvedev
But anyways.
dominated. Medvedev dominated.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, did he dominate or did Djokovic
Djokovic
choke?
No, he dominated.
He dominated.
Really?
Yeah.
His serve was so good, and he just.
He was
awesome.
in the zone, wasn't he, Eric?
Same thing with Emma. She dominated the other girl too. I mean, she was just.
Yep.
Emma was
too strong for her.
incredible. She was incredible. Just
They're
amazing.
in the zone.
Yeah. But can you imagine an 18-year-old girl having that kind of just whatever you want to call it, but I mean, mental toughness to be able to go all the way through that and be in a US Open final, 18 years old. Jesus.
The last time
incredible.
it happened was, I think, 94, 97 with Serena Williams and Martina and
99, I think it was. I think it was
whenever
99.
it was in the 90s. So it's been what?
A long time ago.
25, close to 30, 25 years. It's a long time. And
22
really
by my math, but
outstanding.
that's okay, Marcia.
That's okay. I've had some wine. No worries. I never
Fato,
tried.
you can't leave. We're not done yet.
Some of us have got work to do here.
Jesus Christ.
You know what he said, going from 0 to 150?
Mark, can I sleep on your couch for LDI?
Yeah, sure. Now I got a guest house. You can have the guest house.
All right, good. I'm in.
All right, we'll see everybody later.
Before everybody leaves, if anybody needs to rent.
Chris, what are you eating now?
Stuff, I've got all that.
What'd you say, Bob?
Well, I just said, I've been approached by a couple of people on the mainland to rent consoles and stuff. And frankly, I've got no use for them for a couple of months. If anybody is short of board, let me know.
What do you got, you got any MA2 full? Sid was looking today for.
I have 2 Grand MA2s, full size. I only have full size, and I've got Grand MA3. I've got a whole hog 4 and 2 Evil Light.
Wait, I'm gonna have to mute all of you because you're killing my business right now. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, I'm
Shut
changing
up,
the
all of
subject. I'm going to say goodbye to all. I got sundown bearing down on me. We got Yom Kippur.
Well, let's
It
all
was
say
great
goodbye
to
because I'm
see
gonna
you
go
all.
eat. Happy
Great to
whatever
see
it
you all.
is tomorrow.
Marcia,
See you next week, everybody.
Marcia, call me when you get a chance after your holiday.
I will, Matt. Okay.
Bob, call.
See y'all.
Good, Bob.
And thanks for all the heads up there, Patrick. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys.
Bye.
I guess.
Eugene, what are you eating?
Celery with almond butter.
Ants on a log.
I used to do celery with Cheese Whiz.
That
was
sounds
so
cool.
amazing. Do you guys do Cheese Whiz in America, or is that a Canadian thing?
I mean, only
No,
if you
they
do
do
Cheese Whiz
Philly
here.
cheesesteak.
Oh yeah.
We shouldn't eat it, but we got it.
I know it's so bad, but I grew up. That's all I ate. I mean, Cheese Whiz on bread, Cheese Whiz on celery. I won't eat celery because I quit eating Cheese Whiz.
And you're still
Incredible.
alive. It's amazing.
And I'm still alive.
There
Yeah.
wasn't no vaccine that got you through COVID. It was that damn Cheese Whiz 30 years ago.
That's probably it. I'm pretty sure.
I am completely unbeatable now. I've had COVID twice and double vaccinated, so I'm good. I can lick
You had
doorknobs.
twice?
Well, I had it in February last year. I wasn't sure until I was pretty sure later on. I had it in February last year. Well, because I had a flu shot, and then like a week
God
later,
fucking hates you.
What happens when
Patrick,
you
I
don't
used
wear
to
a
like
mask?
you, man. I used to.
The hell?
That's what happens when you don't wear a mask. Why don't you just wear a fucking bag over your head, Matt? Jesus Christ.
How long
Right.
ago was
Should have
your
wore a
COVID
condom.
infection?
Should have wore a condom.
Which one? Which
Your
one, Matt?
latest infection.
About 6 weeks ago, I guess, beginning of August.
Well, you look good.
Beginning of August.
So good thing.
No, I mean, I really wasn't sick. So I had the vaccine. My girlfriend had it too. She had 0 symptoms. I had fever for a couple days. So I was
Well, we're
lucky,
glad you're
you know.
okay.
I would believe that the vaccine probably made it easier on me to have it. I was gonna actually, because here in Florida we get all these, whatever they call that, something, I forget what they call the drip thing that they give you. I could have gone and done that.
Convalescent plasma.
No, the
Remdesivir?
something. Yeah, they got all that shit. They give you
In
they give you a
Florida?
cocktail. Yeah, they give you a cocktail.
Isn't that the stuff they kill the babies for, drain their blood?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
good
one.
stuff.
Yeah, and puppies and kittens and all
Yeah.
that stuff, Patrick. Yeah.
That sounds like a Florida thing.
The horse
Jugs.
medicine.
That one too. So anyways, yeah, I was fine, but I feel like I could do anything now, even go to the Dolphins game on Sunday. Boom!
But wait,
See how
did
I
they
covered
give
the
you
seat
in-
numbers that time?
Mark the time. That's another edit.
Did you get the Invermectin or no?
I didn't get anything. I took an Advil because I had a headache. That's about it.
Take that
Nothing.
that
You're
cow
a
shit.
drug company man right there.
Mhm.
Was that the cow stuff that they use that they say works?
The horse thing that Joe
Yeah.
Rogan took. Yeah.
That's in
That's
Invermectin.
ivermectin.
Hey,
I don't
Patrick. Patrick, have you had any gigs cancel? Any of your gigs?
Yeah, we did actually. We had 2 that were actually both associated with one another. One was supposed to be 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we still flew in to do a site check recce for it because they want to do it again, but they want to push the date. And then there was a follow-up to that was supposed to happen September, I want to say 23rd or 24th, and that they pulled the plug on that and rescheduled to 2022.
I had one in end of September in Boston that they pushed to November. It was a gala fund, like a $5 million gala thing. And they just don't want to deal with it. They're like, we'll push it off to November. We're still going to do it, but it's, freed up a week.
What I will say is that, yes, we've had cancellations. We've had more bookings than cancellations, which is
Yeah, that's
obviously
what
the
I
positive
that's what I keep. I talked to
Booked
Wiseman
the show this
this morning. Wiseman told me this morning because he was planning on coming onto the call, but then he had a client meeting book at same time or whatever. And he said, Marcel, I got to tell you, I've never been busier in my life. It's absolute insanity right now. And one drops off, 3 come back on. One drops off, 3 come back on. It's. He said he can't keep up.
Yeah, it
So-
makes for more work for the representatives, which sucks, but it's
Yeah, I
kinda
mean,
good.
we were turning gigs down this week, left and right.
Wow. That's incredible. And I mean, I know we've sold your company a shit ton of fixtures recently, Chris. So you guys are busy.
More,
I know
more,
that. I know that.
more.
I know that. Yeah, you guys are busy right now. So no, it's amazing. It's a weird time. I feel really bad for Bob Harmon because Hawaii's tough. I was just in Prince Edward Island a couple weeks ago, and it's similar. You know, these islands. It's kind of like you're trying to keep this sort of wall around you and protect the small amount of people that are on the island. And Prince Edward Island was the same thing. When I got there, they said, yeah, there's 5 new cases. And I was like, 5? What? Jesus Christ. You know, there was 5 in the 7-Eleven where I stopped to get, you know, a thing of Advil earlier. And yeah, I mean, I'm not making fun of it, but they said there were 5 new cases in Prince Edward Island, but there's only like 150,000 people on Prince Edward Island. So, yeah, I mean, the Hawaii thing is challenging for sure. It's got to be tough. So I feel for you, Bob. Not trying to bum you out, dude. Don't put your head in your hands.
I know, I'm just joking with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll survive.
So,
Bob, do you have any stuff going on, or is it just completely shut down?
I was really lucky. I had a week of work. Frankly, one of the local clubs had an SVOG, and I sold a bunch of gear that wasn't making any money, which will move forward, you know. And I was able to stash a little bit, and but now, oh my gosh, it's I call it like tumbleweeds.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And not only did the numbers get high, but our government went on national television and told people it's a bad time to come to Hawaii. Do me a favor, don't come to Hawaii. And
wow,
you know, we had 30,000 people coming a day, and now it's like 15. He cut it to half.
Well, and what percentage of your revenue is tourism? Probably 90.
Well,
80.
you know, the thing is that any corporate that comes in means there's probably going to be a public concert too. And if you kill corporate, you kill my business.
Yeah.
It's related, you know, everything's related. We're an island. And by the way, if you haven't kept up with numbers, we have 1.1 million people on Oahu alone. There's a lot of people here, and 25% more in tourists usually.
Wow.
What's the vaccination?
Vaccination rate depends on what you look at. According to the CDC, we're 75% vaccinated. According to Hawaii's interpretation, which includes every living thing born, we are only 63%. When we get to 80% in their interpretation, they would probably release things.
So is it hard to get vaccinated, or is it the rest?
No, not at all. In fact, it's really easy. It's harder to get tested if you choose not to, as I said before, because so many people, oh, I have the option of doing tests, I'll do that. And then they go, we don't have them. Good luck with that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I talked to friends in Boston and in other states. In New York, you could walk to one of 75 testing sites, get a PCR.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then up there, they have to make an appointment and a couple days out, and it's only PCR, no rapid. Like we have full-blown trailer-built testing sites. Like they took an old parking lot at, you know, that there used to be a Kmart in, and just filled it with trailers for testing. LaGuardia, like in the first floor of the B parking lot, which is American Airlines, is a full-blown testing site right there.
Wow.
You just drive right up, get your 10 minutes, you're done. It's easy. It's crazy.
Friends, I love talking about COVID testing, but I gotta go. Bye. Love you all.
Love you all.
See you guys.
All right, guys.
Happy birthday, Bob. Seriously.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Happy birthday, buddy. See ya.
Bye, Anthony.